Hey everybody, welcome to the SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream number 101. We survived number 100. Some of you will start receiving your giveaway prizes pretty soon. A bunch of them hit the mail yesterday. Anyways, how are you? Hope you had a great week. My name is Jonathan. I'm here for your guitar-related questions. If you had a question for me, put it in the chat with a bunch of question marks in advance of your question so I know it's aimed at me. And I see a bunch of familiar names in the chat already. Hey, everybody. In between your questions, plenty to talk about. We have a poll question up and running. How much do you wish you practiced? I can't tell you how many lessons start with a student saying to me, I didn't practice as much as I wished I did. So what would be your goal? Answers include, you wish you could practice an hour a day. Would that be a reasonable dream? You know, an attainable dream? How about 2 hours a day? Is that what your dream would be? Another healthy, interesting goal would be to practice twice a day, right? A certain amount in the morning, a certain amount in the evening. Is that your goal? Or, of course, we always have our option called other. Let us know in the chat. That's our poll question of the week. We have 2 student quotes of the week, including my favorite student quote of the week ever, possibly. It's my favorite one of the moment, that's for sure. A segment called Should I Sell Out? A segment called Who's in Town? My own dumb question of the week. The Albuquerque Flamenco Festival. We're going to talk about that guitar extravaganza in New Mexico. Anybody get over to Empire Guitars today in Providence, Rhode Island? I hope someone did, because as you might remember, they just moved and expanded. A mom and pop guitar store that's expanding in 2025. That's so cool. Empire Guitars, maybe an hour and a half from where I am right now. So practically neighbors. Hey, good job, Empire Guitars. Check them out online. I believe it's just Empire Guitars. Yeah, it is empireguitars.com. Check them out. Send them well wishes. Follow them on social media. How cool is that, right? We have a bunch of lessons you'll never forget. I'm going to teach you a bunch of lessons you'll never forget, including one that I call the First 5 Challenge. We're going to talk about the Mixolydian mode, not necessarily just the mode, but 3 songs that all involve the Mixolydian mode. It's something that one of you guys brought to my attention last week when we did that Ringo Starr song called It Don't Come Easy. One of you guys said, that sounds like record of the Edmund Fitzgerald, and that got me thinking. So that's going to be one of our lessons you'll never forget. Of course, we have our play along song of the week. Do you remember what it was? We talked about this last time. I hope you remember what it was. I hope you've been practicing it, because we're going to do it, but we're going to do it a little bit differently than you might be aware. If you remember our play along song of the week, the one that I said we were going to do today, it involves a capo and it's in the key of D minor. We're going to do it with no capo in the key of A minor. So if you worked hard on it all week, that's great. You can still do it with a capo at 7 in the key of D minor. We're going to do it without a capo. No matter what, it's going to fit the actual song. We'll talk about that. And maybe one of my favorite things, an idea I had, the top 5 guitar lessons that I've stolen from other guitar teachers. And I give them credit, but I stole them. I thought, oh, that's a great lesson. I'm going to use that with dozens and dozens and dozens of my students. And so I did. The top 5 guitar lessons that I've stolen from other teachers. I think you'll get a kick out of that. And I'm going to tell you where you can get the books that have those lessons in them. I got a few more things, but I'll leave it at that. That's a good start right there. I want to thank our moderators, Beginner Guitar Lessons, and Music Fan 1004. Thank you for being our moderators. I want to say hi to my mom. My mom is often watching these live streams. Hi, Mom. Say hi to a few people in the chat, including Rock Lobster. Hello. Jeff, William, Chaz, Chris, Randy, Wingo. Hello, you guys. Who did I see? I saw Poopa John. I saw Matt Delahunt. Hey, Matt, thank you for being here. So a lot to do, a lot to talk about. Let's get right into something. Let's get into Jeff's question. That's why we're here, you know. Jeff, I'm reading your question. Excellent question. Jeff, I haven't heard that exact term before, but I think I know what you're talking about. Hey, Joseph. Joseph just joined the chat. Hey, Charlie. Jeff says, can I use the blues curl, meaning a small bend? I love that. On all the notes in the scale, or should I just bend specific notes? Excellent question. I wish more of my students asked me that question. Once a student learns that you're allowed to bend notes, some people begin bending every note just to see what will happen, which, like trial and error. Nothing wrong with trial and error. You guys know that I feel trial and error are your two best friends, but I'd rather have a student ask me a good question like that so we can, I can answer your question. Okay. Short answer, there are certain notes that sound great when you bend and other notes that can lead you into trouble. Here's how you know the difference. You want to bend a note where the subsequent sound, the note that you're bending up to, is a note that sounds good in that context. And I'm going to give you an example here. And I'm going to choose, let's see. We are going to do the B.B. King box in the key of E. And this is the type of thing that I will put in the description of this live stream when I timestamp it tomorrow. So you don't have to necessarily memorize what I'm saying right now. But you know what? You guys, here we go over here. How about this? There we go. This is going to be so easy for you to memorize. Okay. The B.B. King box in the key of E, 4 on the 3rd string with your middle finger. That's the G string with your middle finger. Very important that you use your middle finger. On the B string, 3-5 with your index and ring. On the E string, 3-5. That last 5 on the skinny E string, we're going to do a 3-finger bend on that note. And I'll tell you why in a second. So the B.B. King box pattern in the key of E, a nice bluesy group of notes, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5, 4, 3, 5, 3, 5, middle finger, index ring, index ring. Okay, now there are 2 reasons why I'm using this example. Skinny string 5. Okay, that happens to be the note A. The next note up the neck, the 6th fret on that same string, is a note B flat. It's a great bluesy sound in the key of E. We're in the key of E right here, okay? So when I take my A, 5th fret skinny string, I use 3 fingers. Please use all 3 of your fingers. My index finger just sitting there at the 3rd fret. My middle is at the 4th fret, ring at the 5th fret, all on the same string. I'm bending 5. So it sounds like 6. Here's 6. Here's 5. 6. Here's 5. Now I'm gonna keep that 6, that B flat in my memory, and I'm gonna, to the best of my ability, I'm gonna do a 3-finger bend on 5 until it sounds like 6. Here's 6. Here's 5 with a bend. That's a pretty substantial bend, especially on acoustic guitar. My skinny E string, I'm really squishing it up against my 2nd and 3rd strings. So in effect, I'm actually bending more than one string because I can't help it, right? Okay. If this is tricky for you on acoustic guitar, you can blame the guitar. If this is tricky for you on electric guitar, then you got to practice more, right? Acoustic guitar, though, yeah, it's typically a thicker string. It's fighting you a little bit. It also has to do with the flatness of the fingerboard. Any guitar fingerboard is not perfectly flat. It's actually radiused a little bit, and the radius of actually, now that I think about it, no, the radius of the acoustic guitar does not fight you in this case. So disregard what I just said. Okay. So there's a quick example, Jeff, to a note that sounds good when you bend it. Because you're bending it to sound like another good note. Bending 5 to sound like 6, okay? Now, it's not a coincidence, though, that I chose that note because you can get a 3-finger bend. I don't recommend bending this note, 3 on the skinny 1st string, for lots of reasons, including it's just 1 finger there. You're not going to get a very, it's just not going to be comfortable to bend that note. So that's at least one reason not to bend that note. Okay, let's talk about a few others. the ring finger note 5 on the second string. Well, that's the note E. If we're playing a blues song in the key of E, we like E. We don't want to change E. We want to play that E and we want to double down on that E. We don't want to change the sound of that E. So that's, even though I have 3 fingers there, I'm never going to bend that E because I like the sound of that E, you know? So that's one example. Jeff, if you are, I'm going to do an A blues scale involving all 6 strings. And again, that's the kind of thing that I'll put in the chat. Okay, I put the tab for that in the chat. Okay, the A blues scale has another really convenient note to bend. It's convenient for musical reasons and for physical reasons. For the record, what I just did there, starting on my fat E string 5/8, please use your pinky on 8. Do it. Even if you can stretch up your ring finger, you got to justify your pinky's existence. Fat string 5/8, 5th string, the A string 5/6/7, D string, 4th string 5/7. Now watch out. Here's where it gets good. 3rd string 5/7/8. In a minute, we're going to come back to that 7/8. 2nd string 5/8. 1st string 5/8. Okay, so let's go back to that 3rd string, G string 5/7/8. Can you read my mind? Instead of fretting that 8th fret with my pinky, 3rd string 8th fret, I'm going to bend 7 so it sounds like 8. And not a coincidence, I have 3 fingers there ready to help out with that bend on the G string. So I want to get the 8th fret note in my head. Happens to be the note E flat. Okay, I'm getting that note in my head. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of that pinky, 3-finger bend. I'm bending the 7th fret note so it sounds like 8. I'm doing it with the help of my index and middle fingers. Here's 8. Here's 7 with a bend. Here's 8 again. I'm testing myself. Here's 8. Here's the bend. 8, bend. Okay. You want to push yourself to match that sound. It's not enough just to throw your muscles at it, you know? Although in the beginning, especially if you've never done this before, that's what you have to do is bend your muscle. I mean, throw all 3 of those fingers muscles at the bend. But whatever you do, you don't want to bend it so it sounds like a note higher than 8, right? We want specifically that note. So as much as possible, play the reference note. I'm going to call it the reference note. And then keep that sound in your mind. Okay, so Jeff, I hope that gives you a couple examples and in general answers your question that some notes you want to bend and some notes you don't. Again, that E flat is the flatted 5th degree of an A major scale, and the flat 5 is it's one of the blue notes. It's a great sound, you know. When I did the first example, I was also bending my 5th fret note from that BB King box, so it sounded like 6. And the 6th fret note is also the flatted 5 degree of the relevant scale, which in the first example is the E blues scale, or could call it the E minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so in this particular case, in both of those scales, we are bending the 4th degree of the scale to sound like the flat 5, the flatted 5th degree of the scale. If that all sounds crazy, yeah, then just think of it as a physical exercise. You don't have to know the music theory. It's cool to know the music theory, but you don't have to know it. Jeff says, very fine explanation. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for a great question. And by the way, those are just some examples, but anytime you have 2 adjacent notes, 12th fret and 13th fret on the same string, you could always bend 12 to sound like 13. Instead of playing 13, you could bend 12 so it sounds like 13. Does that make sense? But I'll say it one last time. As much as possible, you want to bend with multiple fingers, touching the same string, pushing, and you really don't want to bend notes with just one finger. There's no great reason to do that. I'm speaking really generally, but yeah. Here's a question that you're going to think of in a minute if you haven't already thought of it. Do you always bend notes up towards your chin, up towards the ceiling? No. You can pull notes down towards your leg. In the case of the skinny first string, you have no choice but to push it up towards the ceiling. In the case of your fat E string, you have no choice but to pull it down towards the floor. The 4 inside strings, it's a weird personal preference. I always push notes up towards my chin, up towards the ceiling, right? I always do that, except on the fat string. But I've seen plenty of people pull down towards the floor, and that's, I don't know why some of us do it one way, some of us do the other way. I don't know. Jeff says the flatted 5th note is a great note to pass through, but not stop on, unless you're going for an unsettling feel. Exactly. You know, think of this stuff as chemistry. When you really lay into a certain note, you are creating an effect, even if it's the root note, especially if it's the root note. A minute ago, I was doing that B.B. King box. And if I really lay into that E right there, 2nd string, 5th fret. I mean, I'm brainwashing every listener into valuing that note. Think of that note. Wow, that note must be important. The guy keeps hitting it. That must be the king of the notes right there. And yeah, I'm trying to convince you that note, of all the notes that you could be hearing right now in the world, that note is the most important note, the tonic note. Very powerful sound. Not a whole lot of drama in that note, right? So I'm playing the flat 5. Ooh, didn't that sound like a wrong note, right? I'm continuing to play the root note, in this case, E. By the way, for this moment, I'm thinking of myself as playing a bluesy rock song in the key of E, okay? So I keep doubling down and hitting that E, 2nd string, 5th fret. And the flat 5, the note that we're talking about, 6th fret on the skinny 1st string. Okay, I'll stop doing it because some of you want me to stop. Like, So yeah, so to Jeff's point, Jeff H. Jeff R asked the question. This is Jeff H now. Yeah, it's a note that you might want to pass through, meaning play it, you know, in a sequence with other notes, pass through it, rather than doubling down on it. And sure, but again, it's like chemistry. What effect do you want to get? What, you know, maybe you want to have that unsettling sound, you know. When instead of playing that 6th fret note, if I bend the 5th fret note to sound like it, it's really easy to get back to the 4th fret note. So in that case, it's easier to sort of pass through it. There it is. There's the flat 5. But now I'm back to the 4. So by sliding up to it, I should say bending up to it, it almost implies that I can bend back away from it as well, right? Pooba John is asking a great question. How do you bend down a half step? What's the opposite of this? Yeah, it's tricky, right? The short answer would be to pre-bend. Okay, so I'm gonna before I pluck the skinny string, I'm gonna bend that 5th fret note on the skinny 1st string. And for those of you who are listening, not watching, I'm still committing all 3 of my fretting fingers to bending that string. So I'm pre-bending. I know when I pluck it, I'm reasonably sure it's going to sound like the same note as on the 6th fret. And then as I relax my hand, what they call a release, you're not really releasing the string, you're just letting it come back to a neutral position. Hear that? I'm reversing the whole bending process. So I'm bending down a half step, you could say, right? At least this is how I'm choosing to answer your question. Pre-bend. That's one way to do it. I'm sure, with a whammy bar, people who are real whammy bar experts, they could show you other things. Depress, say you have a strat with a whammy bar, before you even play a note, you depress the whammy bar. Then when you play the note, the string is loosened, right? And as you release the whammy bar, the string comes back up to pitch, Yeah, good times, good times, good times. So, Jeff, I like how you referred to that as the blues curl. I hadn't heard it referred to that way, but I get it. Very emotional sound. Bending the strings is how we make our instrument sound human. And that is, if not the number one goal, it's in the top two goals for any musician, is to express themselves. And by making your instrument sound human, you are that much further down the road to expressing whatever is on your mind, right? And some instruments, I'm guessing, based on my own experience, some instruments it's easier to get that sound. For instance, the sound of the human voice, right? Some instruments it's easier than others, right? A little tricky for a drummer, tricky for a piano player. Obviously, drums are beautiful instrument, piano, beautiful instrument. And until someone proves differently, I think those two instruments have a real uphill battle to imitating the human voice. Saxophone, violin being fretless. Some instruments, I think, have a huge head start towards sounding like the human voice. My opinion. Okay, excellent. Hey, you guys, let's. How about I teach you a lesson you never forget? Check this out. What I'm going to pull up here, some of you guys might get a kick out of this. I sure hope you do. A handful of songs that not only use the Mixolydian mode, they're based on the Mixolydian mode, but that's not the number one thing. It's that, where are we here? Come on, buddy. It's that they are the same as each other. What does that mean? The same as each other? How can it be the same as each other? The Mixolydian sound, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, don't go anywhere, my friends. And I'm going to share the screen. Okay, now this was prompted by you guys. Sure. Beautiful. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Okay, everybody see that? Okay, if your screen goes black, do not panic. Hello, M. Fish. M. Fish has joined the chat. Martian Murray. Hello, Winston. Barry. Hey, you guys. Okay, so last week for our play-along song, we did good old Ringo singing, "Got to pay your blues if you want it. I gotta pay your dues if you want to sing the blues. And you know it don't come easy." Right? We got D for 4 counts, A minor for 4 counts, C for 4, and G. And that's the verse of It Don't Come Easy. And one of you wise people, go ahead and take credit for it if you were the one, said, "Ooh, that reminds you of Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald." Well, check out the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald down below. You got the "Legend lives on from the Chippewa on down to the Great Lakes they call Gitche-Gumee." Wingo, is that you? Yeah, there you go. So look at the chord progression. Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald compared to It Don't Come Easy. Same thing, except, and this is somewhat significant, the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald returns back to the D chord before the whole sequence begins again. And no, this is a first for a SongBike live stream. What if we took the words to one song and put them to the other? You got to pay your dues if you want to sing the blues, and you know it don't come easy. Or I'm gonna try to sing the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald lyrics to the melody of It Don't Come Easy. if I can do that. The legend lived on from the Chippewa down the Great Lakes that go. I don't know if I can do it. Okay. For the record, in case any capo police are out there, you would have to put the capo at the second fret if you want to play along with the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald using those chords. It doesn't change the fact that the chord sequence is darn close to It Don't Come Easy by Ringo Starr, specifically the verse of It Don't Come Easy. And hey, let's not forget Tom Petty. Right around live stream 80, 81, somewhere in one of our live streams way back then, we did She Was Standing on the Highway in boots and silver spurs, hitchhiked to the yellow moon when a Cadillac stopped for her. Right? We got good old Swingin' by Tom Petty, and the verse of Swingin' is, oh, it's so close. D to A minor to G to D. So again, for those of you who are listening, not watching, It Don't Come Easy. We got D to A minor, C to G. Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. D to A minor, C, G, D at the end. Got it? Okay. And Tom Petty Swingin', we got D, A minor, G, back to D. Ooh, so close, so close. Now, some of you might say, close, but no cigar. You can't, it's obviously it's different. But, what all three of these songs have in common is that Mixolydian sound. What does that mean? Among other things, it means that A minor chord and the C chord, those aren't supposed to be there. Both of those chords, A minor and C, have the note C in both of those chords. Well, what's the problem with that? Well, the songs are in the key of D. And if you're in the key of D, you're supposed to have C sharps, not C naturals, not regular Cs. So if a songwriter writes a song in the key of D, but they throw in some A minors and Cs, even just the A minor or just the C, they have now put all of us listeners into the world of the Mixolydian sound, Okay, now for those of you who might remember, the Mixolydian mode is not a big deal. It's a major scale. It's just not the D major scale. So one fun thing to do would be to solo along with the song Swingin' or It Don't Come Easy using the D Mixolydian mode, not the D major scale, the D Mixolydian mode. So does anyone remember which major scale, a major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, which major scale is synonymous with the D Mixolydian mode? I'll give you a clue in a minute, but some of you might remember because we talked about this, people. We talked about this a week ago. Yeah. Wingo. Oh, sorry. Nope. Not the C major scale. Nope. I'll give you a clue in a minute. And here's why I'm making a big deal about this. As long as you know your major scales, and in a way, you really only have to know how to play one major scale. As long as there's no open strings and you have it memorized, whatever major scale you have memorized, then you can shift it up and down the neck and get all the major scales. Martian Murray and Chris, you're both right. Well, Martian Murray is definitely right. And Chris, it's just G. You don't have to say that part about no F sharp. So the G major scale contains all the same notes as the D Mixolydian mode. It sounds like something that you can do. Like if someone said to you, hey, can you learn the G major scale? I could probably do that. If someone said, hey, man, could you learn the D Mixolydian mode? It sounds like you got to Google it, right? Okay, so long story short, the D major scale, we're not going to use that to solo because it has a C sharp in it. The G major scale is so close to the D major scale, it just has C instead of C sharp. We like that because we're playing chords that have C in it, including the C major chord and the A minor. Okay, so you ready for a G major scale? G major scale. The easiest way, I would say, to play it on your 3 treble strings, the G string 0 and 2, the B string 0, 1, 3, the E string 0, 2, 3. So in slow motion, 3rd string 0, 2, second string 0, 1, 3, first string 0, 2, 3. Those 8 notes are both the G major scale and the D Mixolydian mode. There's the F sharp that we need. There's everything we need, including a C natural. Okay, so you could use that to solo along, improvise on top of Swingin' by Tom Petty. You could use it to solo along with It Don't Come Easy by Ringo Starr, at least for the verse part. And if you put a capo at the second fret, you could recreate that scale and solo on top of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. There you go. So here's a shortcut. The 5th note of the G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, the 5th note is the Mixolydian mode. If the first note is G, G major, the 5th note tells you the name of the Mixolydian mode that's hidden in plain sight in there. The G major scale contains the D Mixolydian mode. How about the C major scale? C, D, E, F, G. The C major scale contains the G Mixolydian mode. How about A? A, B, C sharp, D, E. The A major scale contains the E Mixolydian mode. So whatever you do not let any of this baffle you. Even if at the moment you're like, whatever, this is not, that's okay. That's all right. Because as long as you sooner or later make your peace with the concept of the major scale, like on paper, the theoretical concept, and learning how to play it in at least one closed position. By the way, that was 5, 7, 5, 6, 8, 5, 7, 8. I'm going to put all this stuff in the description of this live stream. Okay, don't worry. Then you can take that physical pattern of notes and move it up and down the 3 treble strings. You'll have all the major scales you need. And then you don't have to go and learn the Mixolydian mode. You just have to know which major scale overlaps with the Mixolydian mode. Or like I said, the Mixolydian mode is hiding in plain sight. In fact, every mode you ever hear about is hiding in plain sight. Okay, one reason we're even talking about this is if you went to solo on top of a tune, like one of these tunes, and there's a bazillion more tunes that would require you, that would encourage you to use the Mixolydian mode. I would hate for you to be baffled, like, wait a minute, what, maybe you start playing a D major pentatonic, and that doesn't exactly work, huh? You start, well, actually D, E, F, could it work? Yeah, it could. It just wouldn't be ideal, You try a D minor pentatonic, and a couple of notes sound okay, and a couple of them don't. Like, crap, I don't know. You use a D Mixolydian mode, and all of a sudden, there we go. Life is good. So I'd hate for you to find yourself in that situation. So there you go. All right. Debbie has joined the chat. Hey, Debbie. Chaz says, thanks for the music theory. I need it. You got it. You got it. And you guys, if I can wrap my little head around it, you can too. This is not, I'm not saying it's easy. It's like, holding multiple concepts in your hand at the same time, and there's a bunch of numbers, and it's, but in the grand scheme of things, you can do it. If you're an adult and you've earned a living doing some kind of job, you've worked for a living, then you can do this. If you've kept different concepts in your mind, at the same time, then you can do this. You have to want to. I would never try to convince someone. I shouldn't say convince. I would never force someone to learn music theory if I sensed that it was not their thing. I get it. But I wouldn't let them believe they couldn't do it, because anybody can do this stuff. Okay, so there you go. A lesson you never forget. I would say actually a few different lessons. One is that, wow, these guys use these same chords over and over again. And the second thing is a little taste of the Mixolydian mode. There you go. Student quote of the week. I'm going to hit you with 2 student quotes of the week. One was just a nice, heartwarming thing. One of my adult students came in for his lesson, and he just walks in the door. He goes, best part of my week right here. I was like, oh, man, it's good to hear, But My new number one favorite student quote of the week. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to wet my whistle. Bear with me here. So a kid comes in for his lesson. We're having a good lesson. He's playing a song. He's picking out a melody, and he did a pretty good job. Made a couple of mistakes, but I noticed his eyes were glued to the music in front of him. He was trusting his right hand, trusting his left hand. Made a couple of mistakes because, if you're not looking at your hands, one of them is bound to do something wrong, right? I get it. So we wrap up, the song. I said, man, good job. Now I have an agenda. I want to reinforce his good habit of trusting his hands. So I say to him, hey, I know you made a couple mistakes, but you know what? I'm not even worried about those mistakes. I'm actually okay with those mistakes. Why do you think I'm okay with those mistakes? And regardless of what he said, I was going to draw his attention to the fact that it's a good habit to trust your right hand. It's a good habit to trust your left hand and keep your eyes on the paper. So why do you think I'm okay with you making a couple mistakes in that song? He looks at me, he goes, because we're just doing this for fun. Yeah, man. That is the number one answer. We're just doing this for fun. Way better than what I was going to say. So folks, we're doing this for fun, right? Right? This is good for us. This is healthy. It's fun. We make mistakes. So there you go. My new favorite student quote of the week. And as soon as he said it, I think he was in on like Monday or Tuesday. I thought of you guys that, I know what I'm going to share with my live streamers on Saturday. Unless someone can top that in the subsequent days, that is the second of this week's 2 student quotes of the week. I got a dumb question for you. Ready for a dumb question? I ask it so you don't have to. The dumb question of the week. Can anybody be a guitar teacher? I mean, do you need anything besides, a guitar, a couple of chairs, a music stand would be nice? Can anybody be a guitar teacher? That's a dumb question. The answer is yeah, anybody. Not only can they do. No license, no references. What else? No resume. You don't need to have a presence on LinkedIn or Indeed or one of those things. Nah, 2 chairs, music stand, some working lights. Yeah, anybody can be a guitar teacher. Absolutely no oversight, no peer review. It's a dumb question, but yeah, anybody can do it, and they do. I was a drummer, as you guys know. I took drum lessons as a kid. I took lessons really seriously, and I had a good teacher who was a graduate from the Berklee College of Music. So we got into reading music and playing a variety of orchestral stuff: xylophone, marimba, timpani, rock and roll, jazz, you name it, everything. And I took it really seriously, and I was into it. But I'm a drummer, you guys. So obviously I'm living proof that anyone can be a guitar teacher. All I did was drums from 10 to 16. I was so into it. If you had told me that I'd be sitting in this chair doing this, that would have not made any sense. So there's a dumb question of the week. Can anybody be a guitar teacher? Yep. In fact, I hope some of you have had some experience showing someone, family member, friend, loved one, someone, how to do something. In fact, it would make my day if someday some of you teach someone something you learned in this live stream. Oh, that'd be so great. This teaching profession is unique in that when I do my job, I don't lose anything, right? If I was cooking you ham and eggs, I serve you the ham and eggs, and I have to go get some more ham and eggs, right? Nope. Cost me my time, which is valuable, but you know what I mean? It's a unique kind of job. I could keep doing my job, and I never run out, so to speak. Winston says, is there an association of registered guitar teachers? I have no idea. It's a great question. There is, for sure, for piano teachers. I'm aware of right here in my local area, a piano teacher, not a guild, not a union, but it's a group for sure, a very legitimate group that I'm sure is recognized nationally, if not internationally. They're serious, man. Those piano teachers, they're serious. Guitar teachers, I don't know. I imagine there are some things out there for sure, but not like other professions. You guys, I'm sure within your fields of expertise, I'm sure there's some of you involved in unions or boards that can certify what your skills are and stuff. Nope, it's the Wild West here in guitar world, as is evidenced by the hundreds or thousands of people online on YouTube, right? Who are like, here's how this song goes. And some of them are so good. I mean, they are. I watch them, some of them, and some they might be demonstrating. There might be more demonstrators than teachers, which is nothing wrong with that. That's what they can do. Maybe they can't explain it and they just want to show it. There's a dumb question of the week. There we go. Okay, check. A handful of you won prizes in our giveaway raffle, so to speak, for last week's 100th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream. Those of you who won books, the books have been mailed out. Those one of you won a beautiful stolen German Christmas fruit bread, which is extremely delicious, from my baker friend a mile down the road. She keeps me carbohydrated. There's being hydrated and then there's being carbohydrated. And Dagmar's Desserts from Old Saybrook, Connecticut. And she has your name and number, a name and address, and she will be shipping that to you very soon. And I believe the winner for the yummy German stolen bread, it lives right here in Connecticut, so it ought to get to you pretty fast. Those of you who won a T-shirt, those are works in progress. The pizza place, they ran out of T-shirts and they're printing up some more. So when I get the T-shirt, that'll go in the mail. So the T-shirts will probably go out, long story short, they'll probably go out next week. And drum roll, please. Brrr, one of you lucky people, and you know who you are, you won that sweet guitar case from Sweetwater, the Gator gig bag, $269 gig bag. That was a gift from Sweetwater to me, to you. And so thank you, Sweetwater, for making that happen. And Sweetwater, of course, is faster than anybody. So Sweetwater, as far as I know, they already mailed it. Like they mailed it the day I gave them the name and address of the winner. Debbie, you got it. All right, Debbie. I didn't want to, now you know. Debbie was the one who won that guitar bag, and it came yesterday. Oh my God. So Sweetwater, thank you for your support. And the guy in marketing who I was dealing with, I said, you guys are awesome you made this very easy for me as a YouTuber, and I'm really, really available for more giveaways. So I'm going to bug him every once in a while to say, hey, anything collecting dust that you want to move on down the road, because I got an audience of people who would be interested in winning something. Hey, Mariah has joined us. Hello, Mariah from Katy, Texas. I can't tell you how much I love that name, Katy, Texas. I would love to visit Katy, Texas. It just sounds like, in my mind, it just sounds like the most beautiful place. Katy, Texas. Hello, Mariah. Thank you for being here. A to Z Me. Hey, A to Z Me. I know I limited the giveaway to people watching in the continental U.S. Yeah. But you know what? We'll figure something out for you folks outside the U.S. I don't want to slight you guys. We'll figure it out. All right. So check. Who's in town? We got a bunch of people coming through town. How about if I tell you who's coming through town, and then we'll get into our play along song of the week. You do not need a capo. And we're going to try something slightly different in how I present the song to you. So we'll get to that in a second. Who's in town tonight? Coming through this town right here, a Pink Floyd tribute band called, wait for it, Floridian Trip. They are in town tonight. Other people coming through town in the near future. There's a Linda Ronstadt tribute. There's a doo-wop review band called the Corvettes. They're coming through town as a part of a doo-wop review. But Monday, I have a ticket to go see Jorma Kaukonen play some sweet country blues. He made his name playing guitar with the original Jefferson Airplane back in the day. But for decades and decades since, he's been playing some sweet acoustic blues. You might know him from Hot Tuna. I'm going to go see him this Monday. Who else is coming through town? Sean Colvin and Rodney Crowell are on tour together. You guys know Sean Colvin and Rodney Crowell. Willie Nelson just did a whole album of nothing but Rodney Crowell songs. How cool is that? They're coming. They're on tour. Richie Furay, who was in Buffalo Springfield. He was in Poco. He is coming through town, Richie Furay. Reverend Horton Heat. Any fans of Reverend Horton Heat? He's bringing his, I assume it's a trio. I think he usually plays as part of a trio. They are coming through town in the very near future. A lot of fun. You guys know I have extra respect for trios, where the guitar player is just covering a lot of musical ground, chords, leads, singing, everything. So Reverend Horton Heat is a good example of that. And a band that I was not familiar with, but they had a sweet sound, Carbon Leaf. They are coming through town as well. Just about everyone I mentioned, their names and a YouTube video link will be in the description of this live stream. Some things I can pop into the description as soon as we're done in about an hour or so. The overall time stamping happens tomorrow morning. Oh, happy Father's Day. We got Father's Day tomorrow. Happy Father's Day. My big plan tomorrow is I asked my family if it might be a cool Father's Day thing to go see the new Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise. So I think that's going to be our plan for tomorrow. Another segment that you guys might be familiar with, and then we'll get to our play-along song of the week. Should I sell out? Every week, I'm flooded with offers, and sometimes it's only one in the flood. This week, I was offered something to sell to you. You ready? This week's offer was for a retainer cleaner. Anyone out there wear a retainer? I mean, they're not just for kids anymore. Some of you might wear a retainer to get your teeth just right. Well, I was offered a retainer cleaner to offer to you guys. I'm not gonna do it, but now you know what this week's offer was: a retainer cleaner. Okay, you guys, here comes our play along song of the week. You might remember that. Chris, was it you? Chris suggested X out. Said, hey, how about a song by Taylor Swift? And I said, ooh, I know a good one by Taylor Swift. We're about to do my favorite Taylor Swift song. And this was a song used in the movie called Hunger Games. Okay, stand by. Pretty good. Okay. And here it comes, our play-along song this week. There it is. Hope you guys can see that okay. Safe and Sound, Taylor Swift and a duo known as the Civil Wars. This is a sweet, sweet minor key tune. Now, I mentioned that this was a slightly different presentation than we usually do. For once, I think this is the first time. We've done a lot of these live streams, so I might have done this before, but I wrote this out basically how you see it on a site like Ultimate Guitar, where the lyrics are all there and the chord names are just dropped in above the appropriate lyrics. It's not my favorite way to present a song, but I thought, you know, what the heck, why not? Okay, so there are a couple of things you need to know. And you know what? Instead of squinting at my own computer, I'm going to look at my actual paper copy. Okay, a couple of things you need to know. Almost every chord that you see on this paper is going to last for 2 slow counts. The exception, anytime you see a C major 7 chord, by the way, C major 7 is just a C chord, and you lift away your pointer finger. So you could say it's a 2-finger C chord. Take a C major, lift away your pointer finger. That's a very graceful, elegant, dreamy sound, the C major 7. The C major 7 chords, I believe without exception, are always 4 slow counts. Okay, they always last for 4 counts. We'll talk about the strumming pattern in a minute. Don't stress out about that. every other chord, anytime you ever see a chord name, the chord is only going to last for 2 counts before you go on to the next chord. And unless I'm crazy, I'm 99% sure the only exception is that C major 7, 4 counts, okay? We have an intro, we have a verse, we have a chorus, we have an interlude. See, I wrote interlude number 1. The interlude is the exact same as the intro. Then why didn't I just call it the intro? Because it feels kind of weird to say intro right in the middle of the tune. So we're calling that interlude number 1. It's the exact same as the intro. We have verse number 2, which is really the same as verse number 1, just different lyrics. At the very, very, very bottom of the page, in parentheses, it says to chorus, because that's what happens. It goes back to the chorus. You guys know I'm very keen on summing up a song on one page. And so that's one way I do that. I just tell you to go to the chorus instead of actually writing out the chorus again. Full disclosure, after you do that chorus that second time, the song is not technically over. But what happens next is just not that darn important to me tonight. There's another interlude that is just a reshuffling of the same old chords. It's an interlude that essentially is instrumental. There's some oohs and ahs. It's very beautiful, but it's not important for us tonight. And then there's another chorus, and then there's an outro, which again is essentially it's extremely similar to the chorus. So what you have in front of you is truly everything you need to perform the song and to play along, certainly with the first 2 minutes of the song. You know, what you have there is the heart of the song. Okay, so in terms of the strum pattern, there's some sweet finger picking on this tune. Full disclosure, the actual song has a capo at 7 and a totally different combination of chords, focusing especially on the D minor chord. D is in Delta. Why are we not doing it that way? Because it's so easy this way. Oh, it's so much easier. I'll say this though, the original guitar part, capo on 7 in the key of D minor, is so tasteful. It's sweet. It's not easy. It's some just very hip, awesome folky finger picking. I love it. And that's beyond the scope of what we do here for our play-alongs. What you have in front of you there completely fits the song. You could put on the song, crank it up nice and loud, and do what you see in front of you, and it'll fit the song just fine. Okay. In terms of the chords, A minor, E minor, C, G, as always, I'm going to strongly encourage that you do G with your middle ring and pinky. If you don't know what I'm talking about, lucky you, you're probably going to do G with your index, middle, and ring. And you know what? Ignorance is bliss. Nothing wrong with that G chord. It's great. Because this song so often goes from C or C major 7 to G, it really makes sense logically to do G with your middle ring and pinky. And this is yet another example of me recommending that version of G to use. Same notes, same sound, different combination of fingers. Okay, I won't belabor that anymore. And don't forget C major 7, just a C chord with the index finger off, okay? In terms of the strum pattern, here's how I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna try to approximate his great finger picking. We'll save that for some other time. What I am gonna do, at first, the first intro, verse, chorus, I'm going to do boring thumb strokes like this. I remember tears streaming down your face. Sarah never let you go. Okay, I'm going to sing it better than that. But see how I'm just doing A minor and E minor, 2 strums, C twice, G twice. Now you can do whatever you want, but at first I'm going to keep it simple that way. 2 nice boring strums with my bare thumb, just to get us up and running. I'm going to do that for the whole intro, for the verse, and for the chorus. Starting at interlude number 1, to the best of my ability, I'm going to consistently, repetitively do the finger picking pattern a lot of us guitar teachers call the landslide pattern from Fleetwood Mac. For those of you who have never done it before, I can show it to you right now. I don't expect you to do it if you've never done it before, but maybe this will whet your appetite to learn it. It's one of the easiest finger picking patterns, still takes practice. Okay, so I'm going to put the pattern in the chat. I'm not going to write out the whole, in the description, of this live stream. I'm not going to write out the whole pattern, but I'll get you started with it. Okay, I got my A minor chord, since we're in the key of A minor. The landslide finger picking pattern that I'm going to employ essentially for the second half of the tune. Here comes it's a 7-note pattern. Here it comes. Quick reminder, the 6th string means the fat string, okay? The 1st string means the skinny string. So I'm going to say the finger I'm using with my plucking hand and the string number. So here it comes. Remember, it's 7 total notes. Thumb on 5, index on 3, thumb on 4, middle finger on 2. Then repeat it without that last note. Thumb on 5, index on 3, thumb on 4, and you're done. 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 4. If I said the fingers, I'd say thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb. If you've never done finger picking before, that pattern is a fantastic way to start. You can use it for a bazillion songs, just like I'm using it tonight. This is not what the guy does in the actual recording, but it fits so nicely. I call it a skeleton key. It gets me into the song. But I only had to learn it once, right? But I use it for tons and tons of songs. I've literally been paid money to play this pattern. So if I sang the first verse with nice boring thumb strokes, I remember tears streaming down your face, said I never let you go. Okay, if I do it with the landslide pattern, I remember tears streaming down your face, said I never let you go. Oh, it sounds so pretty, right? So that's why I want to do it both ways. Okay, questions, comments? We're going to start this up in a minute. I'm going to wet my whistle. Try to clear my throat off mic. Okay, what do you think? You ready for this? I think I'm ready if you're ready. I am going to do the intro, right? That chord sequence. Anyone notice how the intro chords are the same as the verse chords, basically A minor, E minor, C, G, right? All right, let's do this. I'll see you on the other side. 2, 3, 4. I remember tears streaming down your face, said I never let you go. When all those shadows almost killed your life, I remember you said, don't leave me here alone. All that's dead and gone past tonight. Just close your eyes, the sun is going down. You'll be alright, no one can hurt you now. Come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound. Don't you dare look out your window, darling, everything's on fire. The war outside our door keeps raging on. Hold on to this lullaby, even when the music's gone, gone. Just close your eyes, the sun is going down. You'll be alright. No one can hurt you now. Come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound. All right, how'd you do? I have some questions for you. If you didn't finger pick, which I don't expect a lot of you finger picked, were you okay following along where we were, even though you weren't hearing my thumb strokes? I bet you were. My big question is, did that work okay for you with the chords right above the lyrics? I'm guessing it worked just fine because it's like so clear. Here's why I don't love this presentation. It prioritizes the lyrics of the song and drops in the chord names like wherever they land. I chose to lay out the lyrics in a way that hopefully made the chords seem less random. It's super important for me that a guitar student or anyone, if I wanted to play a song with some professional band, if I had written this song, I was bringing this sheet to the recording studio, I probably would not present it this way because I want them to see the repetitiveness of the chord structure. They don't care what the lyrics are, you know, at least not directly. So Chaz, that worked for you? I'll give you an example of something that this is what I worry about. Take a look at what the second line of the lyrics. All those shadows almost killed your light. See how there's another G chord? It doesn't have any lyrics underneath it, but there's another G chord right there. So you can't forget that G chord. But people who are so focused on the lyrics, I worry that they might just jump to the next lyric, you know? Okay, so that worked fine for you guys. Did anybody find that hard to follow? Because I'm happy to do it, to present songs this way in the future whenever it's appropriate. You know, partly it's that this song is so slow. It's kind of, well, I like to think it's a little bit foolproof, right? Like there's not a whole lot that can go wrong in this song. Okay, so for those of you who are keeping score, what I omitted, where I stopped, it actually goes to an interlude. The interlude, I'm just going to verbally tell you right now in case you guys want to play the rest of the tune. Where I stopped, the next thing is essentially an instrumental interlude. It's a C major 7 chord for 4 counts, a G for 4, an E minor for 4, and a D for 4. Okay, C major 7 4, G for 4, E minor for 4, D for 4. What I just said happens twice. And there's lots of oohs and ahs in there. Then it goes to a chorus, the same chorus that you see in front of you. The only difference is for artistic reasons, they leave out the lyrics. So it's like, just close your eyes. You'll be all right. So it's the same, everything. They just don't say the sun is going down and no one can hurt you now, just for artistic reasons, I'm sure. So you go through the whole chorus. And the last thing that I omitted was the outro. And the outro really is the same as the chorus. It's G, D, C major 7 for twice as long. G, D, C. Remember, C major 7 is the one that I believe, if I did this right, it's the only chord that always lasts for 4 counts rather than 2 counts. Randy says, cool progression, very pretty. It worked fine. All right. Chris says, such a pretty song. Yeah. Winston says, I'm used to this type of presentation, but I prefer your usual way. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I'm laughing because like only I would worry about something like this. But when a song is, like I said, kind of slow and repetitive, or I think that's kind of repetitive, it works this way. So, all right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Very fun. Okay. That PDF you're looking at right now will be available on my website, song-bike.com, in the PDF section. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I will upload it when this live stream is done. And certainly by tomorrow, it'll be up there. All right, check. Hey, how are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. Don't forget to take part in our poll. The poll question is, how much do you wish you practiced? You know, when you think to yourself, I haven't practiced in so long, I wish, you know, what would make you, like an hour, 2 or more hours? Or would it be, hey, you do practice a little bit, but you really wish you could get back to it a second time during the day? Or, of course, other. Hey, DAC Poet is in the chat. Hey, DAC, how are you? Okay, give me 1 second, folks. Okay, I would love to answer a question. Poopa John asked a good question. When you play the C7 chord, does it matter the octave played? Nope. Well, this song, if you're talking about Safe and Sound, it was the C major 7. But in general, if you know how to play the same chord different ways up and down the neck, that's something to be proud of, and do it however you want to do it, especially if you are the if you are truly accompanying people. Like say you're playing along with the recording, and they've got all the chords covered, obviously it's the recording. So I definitely encourage you to play any chord any other way you know how to do it. In fact, that's how you really get it deep in your muscle memory. So that C major 7, for example, one way to play C major 7. Let me think of a fun way to show you. Well, the 3 treble strings, 7, 8, 9. Or you can throw in 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 if you want to stretch out your fingers. That's a C major 7. The pinky note, which is 10 on the 4th string, 10 on the D string, that pinky note is the note C. So if you don't do that pinky note, you get 3 of the 4 notes. You get the colorful notes of a C major 7 chord. But there's a challenge for you. A C major 7, 7 on the skinny 1st string, 8 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 3rd string, 10 on the 4th string. So yeah, so Poopa John, anyways, the answer to your question is, if you know other chords, other voicings or inversions or other ways to play the chords, go for it. Hey, Chaz and Randy, thank you guys so much for your super chat donations. You guys were so generous last week. I appreciate it. That was a fun time, right? The 100th SongBike live stream. Our 2-year anniversary was May 13. So we've blown past that. We're well past that now. And 100 live streams, man. I have come a long way. I've been hesitating looking back at the early live streams. I just think I've come a long way. You guys have helped me, I think, make this live stream what it is today, for sure. But that's life, right? You gotta, like Methuselah once said, it's the first 100 years that are the toughest. There you go. I love that quote. So yeah, first 100 live streams. Okay, now we're getting good. You guys might remember I had a student who was a martial arts instructor, black belt, obviously, has his own martial arts studio. And he said the most interesting thing, and I'm reminded of this on a regular basis, when he got a student, when one of his students attained a black belt, my thought was like, wow, man, you got that guy. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Wow. He said, no. When a student is a black belt, now they're teachable. Oh, like, oh, I love that so much. Yeah. Okay. Now they're ready to learn. So now they're, I love that quote. So we've done 100 live streams. Okay. Now let's do this for real. Speaking of for real, how about a quick lesson you'll never forget? The top 5 lessons that I have stolen from other guitar teachers. I'm a stealer. I'm a thief. And I'm, hey, if someone ever steals anything I do, I think that would be great. For example, if someone, where's my book? Maybe some guitar teacher got this book and makes photocopies, for students, scans it and sends the student home with a page from this book. I just think that would be so awesome, and I would love that. And this book was definitely written with that in mind. This is my book. I'm going to plug my book for a second, and then I'll get to everyone else's books. Easy Guitar Chord and Lead Tricks by me, Jonathan Kiyu. Acclaimed YouTuber. That's what the publisher put back there. Acclaimed YouTuber. Awesome. You can get a copy of this book. You could go to Amazon. If you're outside the US, definitely go to Amazon or wherever you order books from. If you're in the US, order it from me. Head over to song-bike.com. I have a couple of dozen of these. I order them like a case at a time from the publisher, and I will mail one to you. So head on over to song-bike.com and get yourself a copy of this awesome book. I love it. Okay. But top 5 lessons I've stolen from other guitar teachers. Oh, man. I'll tell you, I got 5 books here. Okay. I'll tell you the absolute first one. When this idea popped in my head, I'll tell you the very first one I thought of. And it came from this book. I encourage you to get this book for lots of reasons, including what I'm about to show you. Country Guitar by Greg Koch, K-O-C-H, published by the Hal Leonard Publishing Company. The whole book is great, but I have taught many of my students page 11 in this book. All right, there we go. What is page 11? I'll play it for you, and then you tell me what it is. It's a very cool arrangement of a very famous song, and it goes something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So cool. It's not even hard. The hardest thing about that song, if I had to identify one hard part, is, there's an F chord. Sorry, there's an F chord. What are you going to do? I'm going to quick tune up here. Okay, that name of that song? What's the name of that song? You guys know the name of that song? Now, that is an arrangement of the song, meaning that's not how Johnny Cash or anyone in his band played the song. Okay, it's an arrangement. Having said that, it sounds great, and it's a great lesson plan. Pooba John knows that is, and Rock Lobster, and Joseph, you guys all know. I walk the line. There you go. There's so much to like about this arrangement. Oh, man. And the only bummer is, okay, it's got an F chord. All right, but, oh, man, all downstrokes with your pick. Only C, F, and G chords. And the G chord, half the time, you're just kind of fudging it and playing the open strings of the G chord. You don't even have to commit to the actual chord. Oh, man, I love that so much. So number one thing, these are not in any particular order, but this is the first one that popped in my head. Get yourself a copy of this book, Country Guitar by Greg Koch. And there's plenty of good stuff in that book, but I've used that one with many students. Okay, number 2. Let's do something a little bluesy. Would this be a good one? Yeah. Oh, man. Okay. Same series of books. Blues Guitar by Greg Koch. Hey, you know what? Is it a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence, man. He's got a nice touch. There's actually a bunch of things in this book that I've done with students. So I'm going to choose probably the one I use most often. Okay. Page 38. Now this one, I'll play it. Some of you might not recognize the name of the tune. You might not know the name, but you recognize the riff. So good. So good. Page 38. It doesn't even take up all of page 38. It's one of 3 riffs on page 38. Famous tune. Who recognizes that riff? I heard the Animals version of this song first sometimes that's how it works. You know, you hear the British, you hear the blues from the British folks, and then you find out later that it's not an English blues song, it's an American blues song. Poopa John says, what key is I Walk the Line? I Walk the Line was the key of C. At least what I showed you was the key of C. If you're asking about the key of this one, that's the key of E, E like echo. Name of that song, Wingo. A boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna shoot you right down. I love the way you walk. I love the way you talk. Oh, it's so good, so good. So did we ever do that as a play-along song? We should find a way to do that one as a play-along song. Boom, boom. John Lee Hooker. Absolutely one of the most popular lessons that I've stolen from another guitar teacher. Get yourself a copy of this great book. There's many great things here. Blues Guitar by Greg Koch. Okay, let's get away from Greg. Let's now this one, I think this book is still in print. Flat Picking Guitar Essentials, Folk and Bluegrass. This is from a series. It's distributed by Hal Leonard. It was distributed, but it's from Acoustic Guitar Magazine. Okay, I have used this so many times. I love this lesson plan so much. I've paid double for this single page from this book with no qualms whatsoever. And I'm going to play it for you, and then we'll talk about what you're hearing. There we go, page 59. 59, and okay, what this guy does, the book is actually a compilation of articles that ran in the Acoustic Guitar Magazine. So this, Steve Pottier, Pottier. He gets the credit for this. This was an article he wrote for the magazine called Bluesy Bluegrass. Oh, I love this so much. I wish I had, I wish he wrote a book of nothing but, you know, a couple of dozen examples where I'm showing you right here. Okay, check this out. He takes a folk song, In the Pines, and he plays it straight and he plays it bluesy. Okay, so here's In the Pines, the straight version. Start again, retake, ready, go. That rings a bell. It's because you've probably heard it, but with words. In the pines, in the pines, where the sun never shines, will I shiver the whole night through. Okay, so you learn that. Then you supercharge it, and it sounds like this. A 1, 2. The ending. There we go. Oh, it's so cool. Same tune, but no, it's like, oh, it's better. So imagine doing it the first way, you know. In the pine, where the sun, and then someone looks at you and they expect you to do a solo, right? And you go. Oh, it sounds so good. Oh my God. And now I'm not saying it's easy, but I've had a number of students work hard on it and they get to the point where they can do it that fancy way as well. Love it. I love it. Okay, so that's full credit to Steve Pottier. But the book is Flat Picking Guitar Essentials, distributed by Hal Leonard. The publisher officially is String Letter Publishing. I don't know 100% for sure if this is still in print. Okay. How are we doing? Ready for 2 more? Okay, 2 more. Oh, you can see I've used this book quite a bit. Ken Perlman's book, Fingerstyle Guitar. What did I steal from Mr. Perlman? Well, the number one thing I stole here was his very nice arrangement of the following tune. It's one of those finger-picking tunes that you gotta learn, right? Ah, so nice. Freight Train, written by Elizabeth Cotton. This is officially it's his version of it, but it's very true to the original version. So the whole book is great, but I've used that page many, many, many times with many students. You definitely want to get yourself a copy of Fingerstyle Guitar by Ken Perlman. And back in the day, this was from Center Stream Publications, distributed by Hal Leonard. I don't know where it's at now. I do know it's definitely available, and there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Okay, last one. Dave Rubin. I don't know how I've stolen so much stuff from Fred Sokolow in his books. Fred, I'm sorry. Somehow I didn't grab one of your things. But Dave Rubin, for sure. I love this book so much, and I've definitely stolen an embarrassing amount of stuff from this book. And I learned a lot of stuff myself from this book. If I had to pick one thing that I have used with a lot of students from this book, oh man, maybe that one. Okay, I'm going to do two things from this book. Why not give Dave Rubin, because I've stolen so much stuff from Dave Rubin. He's worth two. Okay, so let's say the pattern known as the I'm tore down pattern. And then it switches and comes back. Blues rhythm guitar. Notice I'm not playing any chords. I'm certainly not doing any bar chords, any F chords. There's a whole world of rhythm guitar out there that has nothing to do with conventional chords. And honorable mention from the same book. I remember learning this a long time ago. But I remember learning, by the way, that was page 38. And this is page 37. The name of the book, by the way, Art of the Shuffle by Dave Rubin. Art of the Shuffle by Dave Rubin. Page 37. So cool, so cool. And that was page 37 from the same book. So much. He relates that song to the Howlin' Wolf song called Evil, which is a lot slower and cooler than what I just did. But what you just heard was based on a song called Evil by Howlin' Wolf. Anyways, so there you go. 5, really actually 6 of the top lessons that I've stole from other people. We'll revisit this topic because I've stolen lots of great stuff. Oh, and again, here's the book, Art of the Shuffle by Dave Rubin. Hal Leonard Publications. Dude, a lot of books from Hal Leonard. I was happy when Hal Leonard published one of my books because I thought, I'm finally going to get back a little of the money that I've been spending on Hal Leonard books for like 30 years. So there you go. Let's do this again sometime because if I sat and thought for about 30 seconds, I could think of 5 more things that are all interesting and nice variety that I would be happy to share with you. Okay. Hey, I'm just checking out what you guys are talking about in the chat. Wingo says, Tommy Emmanuel teaches Freight Train. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I wonder, I see Tommy Emmanuel performing, you know, on TV and stuff. Does he have he probably has like a learning series, right? A website you can join and like learn Tommy Emmanuel stuff. I bet he does. Anybody know about that? I bet he does. Springtime is here in Connecticut for sure. Actually, it's almost summer, right? The blossoms have come and gone. All the azalea, the forsythia. We take it for granted. Probably wherever you live, there's certain things that you just take for granted, right? So certain plants that they blossom and then it's over. Then it's just a lot of summer. It's all right. Not going to complain about summer. Okay, I'm looking at stuff. Oh, okay. In a minute, we're going to get to that thing I call the first 5 challenge. Let's check out our poll though for a second. Catch my breath. The poll question: how much do you wish you practiced? And looks like some of you are pretty reasonable. That your goal would be 1 hour every day. So far, that's in the lead. 45% say, you know, yeah. 26% say 2 hours or more. I figured I'd put that or more because I don't want to, you know, those of you who are ambitious, I don't want to limit you to only 2 hours in the answer. 26% say 2 or more hours every day. 19% like the idea of 2 practice sessions every day. I'm a fan of that. It's been a long time since I've been able to do it, but to play like twice in the same day, it's got to be so good for reinforcing stuff, you know. And then 10% say other. And I know I saw someone talk about that. Hey, Lee, I see your question, Lee, about pinch harmonics. Yeah, pinch harmonics. They're yes, you know. In fact, let me see if I can get you started, and then we can get into that more. I know someone said something about practicing, and Jeff, way back when, Jeff, you said, yeah, Jeff says regarding like practicing, Jeff says, I'm trying to bring up a blank screen when I practice, and it's a practice in Zen, not to just check my email or some other excuse. Yeah, and get sucked in, right? I know. It's tricky, man, and it's not getting any easier, especially if you're an adult and you have adult responsibilities. Yeah, and then you end up going down the YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. Okay. Before we get to another lesson you never forget, I just want to see if. Oh yeah, let's talk about real quick. I'm going to pull up this website. Anybody live in New Mexico? Because if you do, don't go anywhere. Copy, open link. Let's see if I do this. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. Here comes a very cool website. Share screen. Let's see. If you live in or near New Mexico, take a look at what's going on. See that? Ooh, sounds so cool. I just heard about this beginning next Friday. Festival Flamenco in Albuquerque. Anybody see a typo on that page? Makes me crazy. Albuquerque, for those of us from Connecticut, Albuquerque is hard enough to spell without there being a typo on the home page. There's only one R in Albuquerque, in case you're wondering. I doubted myself for a minute. I'm like, whoa, all these years I've been spelling Albuquerque with only one R, and turns out I've been right all along. There's only one R. Okay. What can I tell you? Apparently this is an annual festival coming up in 6 days. They got a little, I want to continue. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm going to go over here. Okay, there we go. Revolution, look at this. The 38th, they've been doing this for 38 years. Presented by the National Institute of Flamenco. World-class performances. Oh, man. Explore shows. Meet the masters. Look at this. You guys seeing all this? 9 days. Workshops. Oh, man. Very cool. I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to play this video. What could go wrong, right? If like you guys, let's see this, but we don't hear it, right? Yeah, that's all right. It sounds like you know some fantastic guitar tones, like day after day after day, and dance. Oh man! All right, so this is what caught my eye and ear this week. Let me pause the video. Okay, there we go. All right, if not this year, maybe another year. I would love to go check that out. Now you know what's going on in New Mexico. Matt's asking me, what's more fun, electric guitar or acoustic guitar? Electric guitar is more fun, for sure. Acoustic guitar, it just feels so good, you know? I mean, everything you need is right there. And if I want any sound to come out of it, I've got to pick. If I want any sound to come out of it, I've got to make it come out. It's not going to do any of the work for me. A million years ago, I heard someone make a really interesting point, which is the basic average volume of the acoustic guitar is perfectly matched with the human voice. You know, it's just loud enough. And I had never thought of it in those terms, but you know, beautiful stuff. Electric guitar is more fun because the bells and the whistles, and in general, the thin strings and the relatively thin neck encourages fast playing and imagine you're a rock star and all that kind of stuff. So I guess electric is more fun. But I think I've played so much acoustic guitar, including 90-something% of my teaching day is holding, you know, this exact guitar, that I have a bond with acoustic guitar that is just different than I would have with electric guitar, for sure, you know. Okay, I'm checking stuff off here. Keep the questions coming, you guys. I love your questions, and that is the number one reason I'm here. Okay, now check this out. I think, if I say so myself, I had a really good experience with the following lesson just this morning. I've been doing this for a few days, and I had I think, a really good experience with this today. And so I'm calling this, I want to share it with you guys. I'm calling this the First 5 Challenge. And it's a 2-pager. And this is also a PDF that I will put on my website. Okay, stand by, here it comes. If your screen goes black, do not fear, because this will pop up in a second. Okay, the First 5 Challenge. This lesson plan, a lesson you'll never forget, is subtitled Playing Rhythm Guitar with Scales. What prompted this? Thought you'd never ask. I was working with a piano student who was showing me a particular song they were working on, and I noticed that the piano student's left hand was doing a repetitive sequence that was simply the first 5 notes of a major scale, while the right hand played a nice little melody, right? Piano is a two-handed instrument in the way that the guitar is not a two-handed instrument, not in the same way. Okay, and I thought, wait a minute, if this works for piano, meaning playing the first 5 notes of the scale rather than playing a chord, then why not apply it to the guitar? So my sales pitch for you is not just treat this as an exercise, although it's an interesting, cute little exercise. I want to plant the seed in your head that you may find yourself in a situation where someone else is already strumming the C chord and you need to do something else. Or maybe you're doing some home recording and you've laid down the track of yourself strumming the chords, but you want to add some more guitar. And so this challenge in front of you is a great example of something you can do other than strum a chord. And we'll talk about why it works as a chord substitution in a minute. Okay, so take a look at line 1. Now, is that too small? Can you guys, I'm actually going to enlarge it because I really just want to talk about line number 1. Okay, that got huge. I always worry that someone's head is going to explode when I do that. Should I warn you? Should I warn you like way in advance? Okay, line number 1. You can see there's a number 1 and the C indicating the first 5 notes of a C major scale. Next comes the first 5 notes of an A minor scale. And then the same for F. and then the same for G. So at a minimum, you could treat that just as a semi-interesting guitar exercise. I say semi-interesting because let's face it, it sounds a little academic. It sounds like an exercise. It's not the kind of thing that your family is going to ask you to play over and over again. Although it has a little charm to it, I won't lie. Okay, so number one, yeah, just treat it as a challenge. I would challenge you to do down-up picking. Down, up, down, up, down, take a breath. Down, up, down, take a breath. Okay. I would challenge you to play that entire first line in first position, meaning every 3 is to be played with your ring finger. Every 2, play it with your middle finger. Every 1, play it with your index finger. No need to use your pinky, but some of you might find it challenging to stay true to that alignment of your fingers. But you should have the discipline to do that. Get what I'm saying? It's a very disciplined, but ultimately that's the easiest way to play it, is to have every finger hovering over a certain fret. The pinky is just not needed, but it would play a 4 if we had a 4 in there. There's no 4. Okay, so it's good for your left hand because it gives at least 3 of your fingers a nice little workout. Good for your right hand with that down-up picking and moving between strings. Okay, so I started doing this with students a few days back, and one of my students, unprompted, began to play each measure backwards. So the first measure would go, I'll do it again. And I thought, wait a minute, that's almost better than what I wrote. You end on the root note, you end on the note C instead of starting on the note C. Why not? What gives more closure than the ending note? And I thought, ooh, Saturday, when I talk to you guys about it, I'm going to, now I wish I could remember which student did this. Dang it. I don't remember who did it now. But number one, it's a way to get twice the mileage out of a page like this. Just play each one backwards. The A minor one would sound like, F would sound like, and G would sound like. Okay. Now, the reason I was pumped up this morning is because my student this morning took it to the next level. So here's what I intended. Little, poor ignorant me. Here's what I thought I was teaching people. I thought, hey, when someone's strumming a C chord, you could take those 5 notes and play them in that sequence, but maybe spice up the rhythm a little bit. Because the hypothetical situation is someone is singing on top of a C chord, and someone is strumming the C chord, and you join in with a nice little complimentary. A nice little complimentary riff based on the first 5 notes of a C scale. Notice I changed the rhythm, right? I gave it a little bit of personality there, right? That was what I thought I was teaching people. And that's why I called it playing rhythm guitar with scales. By definition, rhythm guitar is accompaniment, at least in the most basic definition of rhythm guitar. You're not trying to steal the show. You're doing something repetitively that helps accompany the soloist. Okay. This morning, one of my students just hit the ground running. He began improvising right from the start. So he took those 5 notes and he started shaking things up. And so I started strumming the C chord. I'm like, hey, look, that's where this lesson's going. I could do that all day long. I'm strumming a C chord. He's knocking himself out, essentially treating this page as a starting point for improvising. So, he was sounding great. He's just dancing around with those 5 notes from a C major scale. So a little bit, I said, hey, let's move on to A minor. I just called out, called it audible. And so I switched over the A minor chord. He jumped right in. Most people, I think he was one of them, when they switch to something new, they play it as written first, just because that's what their eyes see. And then in his case, he very quickly began improvising with the A minor measure. And I'm there strumming an A minor chord. So it turned into this jam session, which is fine with me, man. Why not? That was actually, dare I say, it was better and more fun and more educational than what I thought I was doing with this lesson plan. Go figure, you know. Some people, they are more comfortable improvising than others. And I get that. I get that. I've had students at one end of the spectrum who have no interest and they certainly have no comfort in winging it. And I get that. I get that, you know. And I have other students who would really rather have that flexibility and that freedom to wing it and improvise than to have to follow this certain thing beat after beat. And a lot of us fall somewhere in between. Okay. So I'm going to keep this nice and big on the screen, but I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Okay, so that was number one. Line number two, same concept in the key of G. See that? G, E minor, C, D. Line number three, same concept in the key of D, like delta. Now, line number four, here's where it gets good. Line number four, same chord progression as the first one we just talked about. C, A minor, F, G, same chord progression, literally the same sound. Even though I know we're way up the neck, it's actually not a higher sound. It's the same sound done differently, you know. And just to prove it, back at number one, the first 5 notes sounded like, and here at number 4, there you go. Same sound, not an octave higher, even though some of you might have said, oh, he just wrote down an octave higher. No, same octave, same sound. What makes line 4 a little more advanced and why it's line number 4 instead of line number 1, no open strings. So line number 4, I'll leave it up to you to decide which fingers to use. What I will tell you is you got to take a good look at the entire range, 7s, 8s, and 10s, right? That first measure, you need a couple of 8s, a couple of 10s, and a 7. So you can probably figure out, you know, which finger should be on the 7 compared to which finger should be on the 10, right? You want to look at the range, all right? Now, just so you know, this goes on to page 2. Let me see if I can, there we go. Page 2, see page 2 on your screen now? There we go. Okay, page 2, I just kept going. Number 5 and number 6, or number 5 at least, yeah, and number 6, just different ways of playing the early ones. And last but not least, notice how all the previous ones, there we go, all the previous ones really focused on the bass strings, the heavier strings. Because again, when I wrote this down, I was thinking of this as a rhythm guitar exercise. Remember, this all started with noticing someone's piano song. The arranger of the piano song had the 5 notes of the major scale down low with the left hand while the right hand played a melody. Okay. So here, number 7 is, now we are up an octave from number 1. Obviously, it focuses on the treble strings, and it's going to be a higher sound. Number 7 is going to sound like this. And then, that was the A minor. Here's the F. And here's the G. Just a different approach. Why not? I had space left in case you want to see how a guitar teacher's mind works. I had space left at the bottom, so that now I'll throw that in. Okay. Now, last thing, and then we'll move on. I'm going back to the very beginning. Okay. Last thing. Why does this work? I mean, there's chords and there's scales. And there's 2 different things, right? I'm telling you, oh, play a scale while someone's playing a chord. Why does that work? Okay. C major scale, C major chord. Everything goes back to major scales. This is not a chicken and egg kind of thing. Like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Scales always come first. When we're talking about music theory, we're talking about reverse engineering a song. We always go back to whatever scale is relevant. And the major scale, more often than not, is the relevant scale. Or at least if you ask enough questions, sooner or later, the person answering the questions is going to say, well, if you go back to the C major scale, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the C major chord is really a group of 3 notes. The first note from a C major scale, the 3rd note, and the 5th note. Okay, I'll say it again. C major chord is 3 notes. The first note of a C major scale, the 3rd note of a C major scale, and the 5th note of a C major scale, 1, 3, and 5. It's those 3 notes played together, including maybe repeating a note, but a higher version of the note. C's, E's, and G's. The definition of a C major chord is a C plus an E plus a G, and then you can throw on higher C's, E's, and G's if you want to, or lower C's, E's, and G's, but it's all C's, E's, and G's. When you play the first 5 notes of a C major scale, you're playing obviously the first, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Well, the first, the third, and the fifth, those directly correspond to the major chord, right? 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 5. But the beauty is the second and the fourth. Here's the fourth. That adds some nice melody. It gets us away from those chord tones, and it makes things sound prettier. Especially, say, if someone is strumming a C chord and someone is going to improvise with those 5 notes. Well, 2 of the 5 notes are not from the chord. The second scale degree and the fourth scale degree. Those are going to add nice, pretty touches. Meanwhile, the first, third, and fifth scale degrees are just duplicating, harmonically, they're duplicating what the person playing the chord is doing, and it's fine. It's very consistent. It gives a sense that you are in control, So that's why this stuff works. The first 5 notes of these major scales, and also the A minor, you could say the first 5 notes of the A minor scale are directly related to an A minor chord. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about majors or minors. On this piece of paper, the first, third, and fifth note of every one of these measures, every sequence, are the same as the 3 notes reflected by the chord up above. An A minor chord are the notes is made up of A, C, and E, and that 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, it literally goes A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, like alphabetically. Get what I'm saying? That's why this works. You're playing a combination of chord tones and passing tones that complement the chord up above so beautifully. That's all. Okay, you guys good with that? I wouldn't be surprised if we come back and revisit this in the future, and maybe with a little more direction. Right now, again, we're treating it kind of like an exercise, like a fun thing. But it is a fun thing. Remember the student quote of the week? We're just doing this for fun, Rock Lobster says it kind of has that dueling banjo ring to it. Yeah, yeah. Anytime you're zipping between a scale and a chord, especially major scales and major chords, yeah, dueling banjos. There you go. By the way, Rock Lobster, thank you for setting me up, because I always like to remind my adult students what a huge advantage you have because of the library of music you have in your head. More often than not, you have a reference point. You can say, oh, that sounds like da-da-da. That reminds me of da-da-da. Or that's exactly the same as like who was it? Wingo, you recognize the chord progression of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. That chord progression was so incredibly similar to, Wingo, to the chords of It Don't Come Easy, right? Don't underestimate how valuable that is to remembering stuff, giving it value, enjoying it. There's a lot of advantages to being an adult doing what we're doing right here. Yeah. Okay. Checking things off, man. Checking things off. Hey, if you do not follow me on social media, why not? I don't post that much. It's not going to get annoying. But you can find me, SongBike, all one word, SONGBIKE, Instagram, Facebook. Oh my gosh. Can't believe the show's almost wrapping up. On social media is where I mention things such as what I'm about to tell you right now. Next week is going to be Friday. I got a gig. Clay and I are playing at a party at a friend's house. So 2 things. I'm so sorry, I'm just remembering this now. Next week's live stream is going to be on Friday instead. That's a kind of thing that I mention repeatedly on social media. I'll put it in the email that I send out. To some of you folks might get emails from me if you're on the email list. And I do regret not mentioning it an hour ago on this live stream. So if you know anybody who was here an hour ago, but they're gone now, let them know. We'll do next Friday. I got to think about what time is going to work. We might do it. Typically, I have students Friday going into the evening a little bit. I don't know. Okay, while I'm thinking about that, while half my brain is thinking about that, I'm going to live stream our gig. So Saturday night, just come and watch me do the gig. Just come right here to YouTube and watch us do the gig. It should be fun. We're going to play for about an hour East Coast time. I think we're playing from about 7 to 8 East Coast time. For the record, it's just about 7 o'clock right now. So it'd be approximately, don't hold me to this. It's a backyard party. So this is not like anything is possible, right? But at this time, whatever time it is in your time zone, right about now is when I think we're going to be playing next Saturday night. That's why there's no live stream next Saturday night. So I would prefer to do it on Friday instead. Okay. What I might do, let me think. Dang it. I don't want to start too late. Well, put it this way. If I started the live stream next Friday, if I started about this time, which is just about 7 p.m. Eastern, I know you guys overseas, I know this is killing you. You're like, it's not going to work for you. I get it. I know. I'm sorry. For those of you who are not too far away from Connecticut, would starting the live stream this time on Friday, would that work for you? Let me know in the chat. Because if I see a bunch of thumbs down in the chat, that's going to have an effect, We could always just take a week off. We could, But if I had to predict right now, I would predict we would start our live stream at this almost exact time next Friday, which would be the 20th of June. Could that work for you guys? What do you think? Of course, don't forget, all this is being recorded. You can always come and watch it later, but I mean, it's fun to do it with you guys right here. So let me know. I don't see anyone giving any thumbs up or thumbs down in the chat. In hindsight, this should have been the poll question of the week. Okay, DAC Poet says thumbs up. Okay, Rock Lobster, you guys are okay with that? Okay, so I got 3 votes. Randy says it works for me. I'm retired. Yeah, you're retired people. So Debbie says, thank you, great lesson. Debbie, you're very welcome. Okay, so tentatively, let's plan on next Friday, 7 p.m., which is the time it is right now here on the East Coast. But please consider following me on Facebook or Instagram, because I want to give you absolute up-to-minute guaranteed information, and that's the easiest way. Dennis says, I'm in New York. Perfect for me. Chaz gave us a thumbs up. And again, for those of you outside the U.S., I apologize. I know that makes it, you'd almost be like going to sleep and then waking up extra early in the morning if you want to watch it, which I do not expect anyone to do. So let's plan on that, though, tentatively. And then Saturday, June 21, right about this time, is about, I think, tentatively when we're supposed to go on. And yeah, just like I did last time, I'm going to set up my phone, although I'm going to change the setting. I think I already did it so that I don't look like a lefty and my friend Clay doesn't look like a lefty. You guys helped me know how to do that. So I think I did it already. And then you can watch us play. We're going to play for about an hour. I can easily picture us playing about 12 or 15 tunes. Clay will be playing electric guitar, and I might be switching between electric and acoustic, some nice harmonies. If you saw our gig that we did back in February, this is our world tour. We got a February gig, an August gig. We do have an August gig, but this is technically a June gig. But the August gig is coming up. We're barn burners, the two of us, just barn burners. We're going to do a bunch of the same tunes, maybe a few new ones. bunch of the same tunes. Not because we haven't learned new tunes, but I think our goal is to put our best foot forward and play 12 or 15 tunes that are like, Hey, Jamie is buying a Magic Fluke ukulele on Friday. That's awesome, Jamie. Did I turn you on to those by any chance, or did you already know about the Magic Fluke uke company based in Massachusetts, right? Very cool, very creative ukuleles and related instruments. The Magic Fluke Ukulele Company. Jamie, congratulations on your purchase, and we can't wait to hear about it. Very cool. Nice folks. I've met them. I used to carry their instruments back when I was doing a little more retail, and I kind of got away from that. But for sure, that was one of the things that crossed my mind. Even just recently, I thought, if I ever did get back into doing a little more serious retail, rather than just having a few strings and picks for sale, I would definitely consider. I'd love to have a handful of Magic Fluke ukulele type instruments hanging on the wall. Number one, they sound great. And number two, they visually, they look so cool. So just Google Magic Fluke, F-L-U-K-E. I'll put their website in the description of this live stream. All right, you guys. I'm going to give you the final poll results. Sometimes I think they're the final poll result, and then when I end the poll, I'm just going to end it right now. The final poll results, sometimes I announce them, and then I end the poll, and the numbers change a little bit. Makes me crazy. Okay, poll question: how much do you wish you practiced? 43% say an hour a day. That's very reasonable. 25% say 2 hours or more. 23% like the idea of 2 different practice sessions. That would be your goal. And 9% fell into the other category. Hey, DAC Poe is asking a question. Do you have a guitar used for teaching and a guitar for performing? Yeah. I use my Harmony Sovereign quite a bit for teaching, because whatever guitar I use for teaching, I bang it around a lot. And this guitar had a whole life before I ever got it, and it survived this long. And it's indestructible. And I know it's going to get more beat up as I teach. Performing, I'm more likely to use my Martin acoustic, partly because it has a pickup and I can just plug right in. And also it sounds great. Why not? And then I have my LSL Instruments electric guitar that I love so much. And so that's if I'm going to play electric, I'll bring that guitar out. Yeah. But I don't teach with the Martin anymore, because I've damaged it. I'm actually, between you and me, don't tell my guitar repair friend Paul. Don't tell him this. I've damaged it so much, just like different cracks and different bangs. The last time I got it back from him, within a day or two, I put such a dent, such a crack in it, that I couldn't bear to bring. Yeah. So anyway, back. I was just saying I couldn't bear to bring the guitar back to my buddy that he had just fixed. I couldn't. I was so ashamed. So I have a Martin guitar with a good crack in it that I have not got repaired yet. I'm ashamed. So it sounds great. The guitar still sounds great. It plays great. I don't know. I should take better care of all this stuff. All right, you guys. On that note, thank you everybody for being here. Say a few good nights. Randy, DAC, Jamie, Wingo, Dennis, Chaz, Debbie, Joseph, Winston, Static Zigzag, Rock Lobster, Matt, Pooba John, Wingo. Thank you for being here, everybody. Chris, Barry, thank you. Barry says, who's the best teacher out there besides you? There's so many teachers out there. I don't know. And in fact, you know what? Let's focus on how cool it is that there's a variety of people. I don't mean to dodge your question, but man, we live in a world where you can learn the same song from a dozen different people. How cool is that? It's a beautiful thing, man. Get different perspectives. All right. So I hope to see you guys Friday. We'll do the same thing Friday. And then I hope you tune in Saturday and see what we're laying down on Saturday night. All right, you guys. On that note, have a great week. Happy Father's Day. Hope you guys are staying happy, healthy. Play your guitar as much as you can. And I'll see you Friday night. All right. Take care, everybody.